Something unbelievable just happened in the WNBA, or at least that's what the league wants you to believe. After years of searching for the magic ingredient to draw new fans, Commissioner Kathy Engelbert unveiled something she's calling Rivals Week for the 2025 season. Billed as a week of must-see matchups where teams supposedly loathe each other, the concept promises heightened drama, soaring ratings, and a fresh shot of adrenaline for a league hungry to make a bigger name for itself. But one problem surfaced right away. Fans aren't buying it. The moment the official Rivals Week schedule hit social media, skeptics erupted with pointed questions, rolling eyes, and plenty of snarky memes. How can an expansion team possibly have a long-standing rival when they're literally brand new? And is Indiana versus Chicago a legitimate clash, or just a desperate attempt to force a narrative around Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese? If you've been paying attention, you know that tension and heated matchups usually arise from repeated playoff meetings and real grievances between players. Does any of that exist here? Let's dive into the twisted tale of how the WNBA is trying, perhaps too hard, to orchestrate a rivalry mania. The WNBA is no stranger to playing catch-up with the NBA. From the very moment it launched in 1997, comparisons ran rampant. Smaller budgets, less media coverage, and the perennial question of how to captivate a broader audience. Over time, one proven approach across the sports world has been to spotlight rivalries. Lakers versus Celtics, Red Sox versus Yankees, Duke versus North Carolina. People get attached to these matchups because of the drama they promise. Villains, heroes, payback, and redemption arcs. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert understands that star duels sell tickets and boost ratings. She has openly stated that to grow, the WNBA needs those spicy, tension-fueled games that get fans amped.
But the one thing I know about sports, you need rivalry. That's what makes people watch. They want to watch games of consequence between rivals. They don't want everybody being nice to one another. So it is a little that Bird Magic moment, if you recall, from 1979 when those two rookies came in from a big college rivalry, one white, one black. And so we have that moment with these two.
You can almost picture her taking notes from classic NBA storylines, the Magic versus Bird phenomenon of the 1980s, or the sizzling showdowns between LeBron James and Kevin Durant in more recent years. The league sees Caitlin Clark as a golden ticket, someone who breaks the mold, has a fearless long-range shot, and a flair for theatrics that can capture viewers who might otherwise skip women's basketball altogether. But building a rivalry isn't as simple as printing "Showdown of the Century" on a few posters. Real rivalries require a spark. A playoff series gone bad, a flurry of trash talk between players, or repeated high-stakes games that create actual grudges. And that's precisely where the WNBA's plan might be faltering. You can't produce a bitter feud just because you say so. Fans, after all, have a strong radar for authenticity. Months after rumors circulated that the league was cooking up something big, the official announcement finally dropped. WNBA Rivals Week will run from August 9th to August 17th in the 2025 season. For an entire week, the schedule is packed with what the league calls classic matchups and fierce duels. On paper, it sounds brilliant. After all, the NBA has seen success with its own rivalry-themed weeks, tapping into decades of built-up tension between certain teams. The trouble is that while NBA lore can rely on the Lakers and Celtics battling in the finals numerous times, the WNBA's designated matchups don't come preloaded with the same kind of backstory. And fans noticed. Instantly, social media exploded with skepticism. Atlanta versus Phoenix? Really? Some diehards might recall the background stories about Brittany Griner or other Mercury controversies, but your average fan may not see these two teams as archenemies. Then there's the brand new Golden State Valkyries, an expansion franchise that hasn't even completed a full season. How can they possibly share any deep-rooted hostility with the Los Angeles Sparks already? The idea felt forced, and it left many people shaking their heads. This is the WNBA's grand plan, though. They want a marquee event that echoes the NBA's popular concept. They want the hype, the social buzz, the highlight reels. But as soon as the schedule popped up, the superficial nature of these so-called rivalries overshadowed the good intentions behind them. The marquee attraction on the new Rivals Week schedule is a showdown between Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever and Angel Reese Chicago Sky. The league is billing it as a continuation of an epic war that supposedly began in their college days. You've probably seen the highlight clip. One big game, a well-timed celebration, and a moment that fans replayed endlessly. But if you ask the players themselves, they'll tell you the feud is overblown.
I'm pretty sure the only people that view this as a rivalry is all of you. Like, for us, like, it's just a game of basketball.
At best, it's the media who turned that single moment into a national talking point. Yes, Clark and Reese are two colossal talents who electrified the NCAA. Yes, they had intense head-to-head moments in college. But do they harbor personal grudges today? Both have said in interviews that they genuinely respect each other's skills and that the rivalry talk comes more from outside noise than anything brewing behind the scenes.
And obviously that has become a thing and people are just trying to make it seem like it's something, but I love Caitlin and I love her game and I admire everything that she's done.
The WNBA, however, sees gold in that memory. They desperately want it to be the next Magic versus Bird, a white player and a black player, each unstoppable in different ways, forging a cultural zeitgeist that catapults the entire league's visibility. The question is whether that momentum can survive if the players don't actually dislike each other, and if the hype fails to create those must-watch, fiery matchups on the court. The announcement for Rivals Week generated a level of mockery that must have stung the league's marketing department. Reddit threads and X lit up with meme after meme, with people joking about the league slapping the rivalry label on random opponents as if that alone would generate authenticity. The expansion angle particularly drew ridicule. Even supporters who are thrilled about new WNBA teams in markets like the Bay Area are under no illusions. Rivalries are forged through repeated encounters on big stages, not conjured up on a press release. Some fans even criticize the league for stealing the concept from the NBA without doing the deeper work needed to make these battles meaningful. At its core, the backlash highlights a difficult truth. The WNBA can't just wave a wand and make fans believe in something that isn't real. Rivalries, by definition, need genuine animosity, or at least repeated high-stakes clashes that lead to grudges. If the most loyal supporters find the new designations laughable, that's a sign the W has more work to do in creating legitimate excitement around these games. Behind the scenes, an even more complicated issue looms. How do established players feel about the league funneling so much spotlight onto Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, or any other newcomer who's trending? Are veterans like A'ja Wilson, Brianna Stewart, or Elena Del Don quietly annoyed that their years of excellence are overshadowed the moment a college phenom steps onto the scene? Take Napheesa Collier's recent remarks. When asked if it was fair that the defending champion New York Liberty are scheduled for fewer national broadcasts than the Fever, she offered a diplomatic but pointed take. Of course, fans want to see the most hyped player in the game, Clark, but it seems ridiculous to shortchange the actual title holders in the process. That comment sparked a fresh wave of debates about whether the WNBA is playing favorites or simply following the money. And that's the heart of it. Star power draws eyes, which leads to bigger TV contracts, more sponsorships, and, theoretically, better wages for everyone. But not everyone welcomes the idea of the league bending over backward for one or two marquee names, no matter how talented they are. Some of the tension might be envy, but a good portion of it is about fairness and the league's integrity. If you overly fixate on the fresh faces, do you risk alienating the loyal fan bases that have stuck with the W for decades, championing players who deserve the limelight too? Amid all the drama, there's a clear lesson to be learned. Fans of any sport hunger for storylines, yes, but those storylines need to spring from real, organic moments. Blood feud rivalries typically arise from repeated clashes in the postseason or personal animosity that simmers over years, not from a marketing memo. Look at the rise of the New York Liberty and the Minnesota Lynx. They just collided in the finals, and that's a matchup that could evolve into a genuine rivalry if they keep clashing with championships on the line. When two teams battle for the top spot in multiple seasons, fans remember the heartbreak, the triumph, the physical play, and the rosters that keep crossing each other's paths. That's what cements a rivalry in the sport's psyche. The same can happen with expansions or new superstars, but it requires patience. The WNBA can't declare Valkyries versus, sparks a hated showdown on day one. Over time, if these squads keep playing each other in crucial games with emotional stakes, maybe we'll see the seeds of real animosity. But for now, any attempt to label them arch-rivals simply rings hollow. So if the WNBA wants to capitalize on surging interest without alienating fans, what's the solution? First, embrace the star power angle honestly. There's no shame in acknowledging that Caitlin Clark is a once-in-a-generation shooter who generates massive ratings. The same goes for Paige Beckers, Angel Reese, Hailey Van Lith, and other young sensations. Put them in marquee matchups that highlight their skill sets. Let the hype revolve around superstar versus superstar, rather than forcing the bitter enemies narrative. Next, lean on actual history. When two teams clash in the postseason and raw emotions emerge, highlight that tension. Revisit the pivotal moments in highlight reels. Let fans see the heartbreak or glory that sets the stage for the next meeting. Promote those organic stories for Rivals Week or any other promotional push, because it resonates more deeply when fans recall the previous year's controversies or an unresolved score. Finally, keep the fans' intelligence in mind. They know the difference between a genuine rivalry and a marketing creation. Offer special events or commentary that acknowledges the league's evolution instead of telling fans what they're supposed to think. If the WNBA invests in strong storytelling that's grounded in actual on-court drama, fans will remain glued to the screen without feeling they're being sold a counterfeit. By now, it's obvious the WNBA is at a crossroads. The league wants to ride the wave of new, electrifying talent and capture the public's imagination. At the same time, they're trying to handle the delicate balance of promoting everyone, not just the shiniest rookie. Rivals Week is their big gamble, a flashy rollout that attempts to replicate the NBA's success, but risks pushing the concept too far, too fast. Real rivalries don't appear overnight. Fans can sense when the tension is genuine and when it's staged. Caitlin Clark is bound to deliver jaw-dropping performances every time she takes the floor. Angel Reese will most likely find her groove and continue to attract plenty of followers. That matchup, however, isn't automatically an immortal basketball feud just because the schedule says so. If they clash in a heated playoff series or exchange words on the court, sure, we could witness a real rivalry, but forcing it prematurely can do more harm than good, as fans turn cynical or tune out. So where does that leave us? The WNBA has a golden opportunity to reach new heights, but it must be careful not to undermine its own credibility by labeling random matchups as epic showdowns when the history simply isn't there. The truly captivating stories are unfolding daily. Veterans fighting for respect, rookies shouldering sky-high expectations, expansion teams trying to make a name for themselves, and entire franchises eager to claim the top spot. The drama is real enough. No contrived storyline can surpass an authentic struggle for supremacy. What do you think? Is Rivals Week a brilliant marketing strategy that will grab headlines and put more eyes on the W? Or is it a misguided attempt to fast-track a narrative that fans clearly see through? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let the league know if you're excited or just rolling your eyes, and keep watching. Because if the WNBA wants a genuine feud, they might just have to let the games themselves light the fire. And if you've stuck around this far, here's a quick challenge. Which two WNBA teams do you think are on the cusp of a legitimate, years-long rivalry that fans will remember for generations? Let us know below, and don't be surprised if one day that very matchup outshines the artificially hyped ones we're seeing now. It's only a matter of time before a true rivalry, fueled by real history and genuine emotion, finally takes center stage.